Hi, on this video, I want us to learn a little bit more about comparison operators and logical operators. We have used them without knowing what they really are, and I want to introduce you to them. So let's go ahead and let's open our code editor. I think it's a lot easier for me to show you visually what they are. So let's grab the blank.php and let's do a save as and call this comparison operators, even though I'm going to show you two kinds, the logical ones and the ones that we use for comparison. As a matter of fact, I just made a page here that was useless. Let's do another save as. I'm gonna call this comparison because we need to add the PHP to the end of the page. If not, this does not work. Comparison operators .php. There we go. And I'm just gonna delete this. Alright, let's go back to that file. Alright, so let's open our PHP tags here, and of course I need to include that. Okay, what are comparison operators? Alright, so I already did a little bit of HTML here that I want you to have in your exercise files, and you will have this file. It's going to be called comparison operators, of course. I'm going to uncomment this so you can see it on the browser. So I'm going to explain it to you right now. So these are comparison operators. Right? We have the equal, we have the identical, right? So we will say if something is equal to or identical to, we will compare it. For example, we say this is greater than, less than, greater than or equal than, less than or equal to, or less than or greater than, right? This is not with exclamation, not equal to, and this is not identical. All right, we already used this here. We have not used any of the other ones. So I just want to show you a couple here. So now that we have that, let me show you the logical operators real quick before I show you the example. All right, so let's just take this comment out of here. Let's come back here and refresh. Well, we don't need to refresh with brackets. All right, so the logical operators are very simple. We use the AND. This is to compare two conditions, and I'll touch on that right now. And the OR, I'm going to show you that with an if statement. And the NOT. All right, so let's go ahead, let's jump into the code and show you how they work. First, let's start with the comparison operators. You're gonna use them in loops, you're gonna use them in many different parts of your code. Let's go ahead and comment all this because I want my PHP to be on the top line there. Alright, actually I'm gonna go all the way down there so that way we don't have that. There we go. Remember that space really doesn't matter in PHP. Alright, some programming languages might complain, but this PHP does not. So let's write an if statement. Alright, now that we know how to write an if statement, and let's compare something. Let's compare two numbers. Very simple. If 4 is less than 4, I want you to echo this out. It is true. Alright, very simple. So let's go to the browser, refresh. It's not going to execute because 4 is not less than 4. What about if 4 is less than or equal than 4? Now it's executing because it is equal than also, right? So what about if 4 is the same, is equal to 4? This execute, it is equal to 4, right? What about if it's bigger? No. If it's smaller? No. What about if it's not equal to? Of course it's not executing because it is equal to, right? But if I change this to 5, then now we know that 4 is not equal to 5. All right? Now, what about the identical? It's saying right now 4 right here, it is identical. 4 and 4 is identical. But what about when I make it around a string? Now it's telling me it's not identical. Why? Because this is a data type of string, it's text, and this is a number, an integer. So they're not identical. Right here they are the same. PHP looks at it and say, okay, you have a string here with a 4 inside. That's cool. That's the same. But if I say identical, PHP says no, 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 no. This is not identical because this is a string and this is a number. All right? So always keep that in mind. Now, let's talk about the logical operators. So right now this is not executing because it's not identical. Let's have a different opinion right here. Let's have a different choice. Or, so we can test with these two lines here. It means or. So if 4 is identical to 4 or 5 is less than 10, execute. All right. So if this doesn't execute, this or keyword here, well, it's not here, but you see it with the symbol. It's saying if this does not work, then we can try this one out, because it says if 4 is not identical to 4 or 5 is less than 10, then execute this. Now the end is a different animal. The end is like this. Now both of these conditions have to be true in order for this to execute. The 4 has to be identical to 4 and the 5 has to be less than 10 to execute. So if I make this like this, 4, now it's executing right now because 4 is identical to 4 and 5 less than 10. So both of these conditions are true. We execute the code right in between there. All right? So keep that in mind. That's the way you write it down. And I'm going to leave these files here for you in the course exercise file, so that way you can have kind of a reference here where to come back and check this out. All right. I'm going to probably write a couple more if statements below just to show you the other examples that we did. And well, we're done here. So hopefully you were able to learn a lot on this lesson here, and if for some reason something you didn't understand there 100%, don't worry. We're going to be practicing this in a little application that we made for this course, and it's going to be fun. All right, so take care, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.